All right, welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to talk about a couple of our scenarios in the scenario solver for CloudWatch. So we're starting on the scenario solver page for CloudWatch Scenarios, but again, this can be found on the left toolbar. So as I said in the introduction video, I'd say probably give yourself 2 to 3 minutes for these scenarios. Read the scenarios, start thinking about it, maybe jot down some ideas and some solutions, and ultimately decide on a solution for each scenario. So referencing back to the DevOps Pro certification exam, you're going to have about 2 minutes and 15 to 20 seconds per question. All right, so let's take a look at our first scenario. So you want to send your EC2 logs to CloudWatch. You want to store your logs durably, and after 60 days, send to long-term storage. Now, one of the key techniques I use on the AWS exams and specifically on professional level exams is you get a big long scenario question and you need to cut to the chase as quickly as possible. I'm looking for keywords, an example being real time. If I see real time in a scenario question, I'm automatically thinking kinesis. So my process then is I start looking at the answers, the multiple choice answers, and I'm looking for kinesis. And that starts my process of elimination. If I don't see kinesis, I almost rule out an answer. Now, I finish reading the scenario, and it's not 100% foolproof that real time is always going to equal kinesis, but it's a pretty high percentage. Now, in this scenario question, let's look at our keywords. Send your EC2 logs to CloudWatch. Okay, so we have EC2 logs and we need to send those to CloudWatch. We're doing some kind of streaming. EC2 to CloudWatch, what are we thinking about? We've seen this in the course. I'm installing the CloudWatch agent on the EC2 instance, and then we can stream our logs to CloudWatch. Let's see if we can find some more keywords. We want to store our logs durably. Well, it doesn't get much more durable than S3. So when I see store something durably, I am thinking about S3. Now, in the big long scenario questions, there may be further dialogue that points to something else, but in this scenario, I'm thinking S3. And the last one seems pretty easy. After 60 days, send to long-term storage. That's one of my keywords, in this case, a key phrase. Long-term storage. What are we talking about here? We're talking about Glacier. So in working through this, all right, send your EC2 logs to CloudWatch. We need a vehicle to send our logs to CloudWatch. CloudWatch logs agent installed on EC2. Store our logs durably. We store them in S3. After 60 days, that points to a lifecycle policy. After 60 days, we're going to send our logs from S3 to our long-term storage, which is Glacier. So I think the visual aspect helps as well. So you might want to, jot your solution down, a little diagram on some paper, but we've worked through this pretty thoroughly. So let's check out our solution. Okay, and I'm just going to click that a couple times for emphasis. All right, so solution. Install the CloudWatch logs agent on EC2. Send our log data to CloudWatch. Now, we don't have enough specifics as far as metrics here. We could filter on certain metrics such as 404 errors or any kind of error message, but we don't have that much detail. So we're just sending our log data to CloudWatch. One thing about the metrics, if metrics were indicated here, we could create a CloudWatch log group for those metrics. But again, we don't have enough detail for that. So we send the log data to CloudWatch. We're going to archive our data to S3. Store your logs durably. We're going to create an S3 lifecycle policy to send our logs to Glacier after 60 days. So there's our scenario, and there is our solution. And don't be overly concerned if you don't get it right. Just make sure you understand what's going on and why, and maybe study up on it a little bit extra. And I think this stuff will serve you well when you actually take the exam. So let's go on to our next scenario. Using CloudWatch, you need to capture 500 errors from your web server and notify your on-call engineer. And hopefully you were paying attention in the previous scenario. I might have gave you part of the solution. So using CloudWatch, we need to capture errors from our web server. So where are those errors stored? The errors are stored in our application logs. Okay, well, there's a clue. Probably we need to install the CloudWatch Logs agent on EC2 again. So that's going to be our vehicle to get this data to CloudWatch. Install the CloudWatch Logs agent. We stream that data to CloudWatch. Now, we need to capture 500 errors. So we're talking about metrics here. So in CloudWatch, we need to create a CloudWatch Logs group. And we need to focus on these 500 errors. And when we configure the CloudWatch Logs group, which we did in the course, we're pinpointing these 500 errors. So we got a CloudWatch Logs agent streaming the CloudWatch. We have a CloudWatch Logs group for our metric. All right, and finally, our final clue here, notify our on-call engineer. Now, of course, we want to automate this. So how are we going to notify our on-call engineer? Well, by now that you're probably screaming SNS. So we need to set up an SNS topic, and we need our personnel to subscribe to this topic. We need some kind of alarm for these 500 errors. The alarm triggers SNS, which then emails our on-call personnel. Anyone in our group who has subscribed to this topic. We're probably pretty close here. Let's click on Solution. All right. Again, install the CloudWatch Logs agent on EC2. Again, we need a vehicle to get our logs to CloudWatch. We're going to stream it. Create a CloudWatch log group to capture 500 errors. We'll set an alarm on those errors in CloudWatch. We'll also create an SNS topic. Our personnel will subscribe to this topic, and we will use SNS to email on-call personnel when alarms occur. So that's a look at some scenarios in CloudWatch, and just to get you thinking in a mindset to solve these scenarios. So you're given a scenario, you have to have an understanding of the tools at hand, the inner workings of CloudWatch, CloudWatch Logs agent, log group, CloudWatch metrics, using SNS with CloudWatch, S3 lifecycle policies, and always your keywords: durable, S3, long-term storage, Glacier, notify your on-call engineer, SNS. So with that, we have completed this lesson. Go ahead and mark it complete, and we'll move on to our next scenarios.